welcome to Brian's Got Game. I'm Brian. Today, I got a game called By Order of the Queen. By Order of the Queen is a 2 to 4 player cooperative game with a fantasy RPG theme by David Gerrard, art by Justin Hillgrove, and will soon be published by Junk Spirit Games. In this game, players take on the role of a guild, but must work together to protect the kingdom, while performing 3 of the Queen's orders. So, check it out, and I'll show you how to defeat a Nemesis, go on a quest, and how to fight back the hordes in By Order of the Queen. To set up, place the board in the center of the table within reach of all of the players. Then shuffle the location cards and put them on their corresponding area. So they have art, which matches areas on the board, and then also it has these attributes that are most likely to be on the back of the card later in the game. I'll talk more about that later. The next one, Ironstone Crags, Obsidian Wastes, and Silver Coast. Then take the event cards, remove the King's Funeral card, set that aside, shuffle the event cards and place them up here, and then place the King's Funeral there. We flip over a new one of these every round, which is 4 player turns, which is marked by this token, which I guess in the final copy will be smaller, so you can accurately tell. Okay, now we do the monster. This is the normal monster deck, and it has a bunch of different monsters, goblins, and lurkers, and lurklings, and V-men, and other things that you fight later in the game. So you take these, and you also take these Nemesis cards, which are smaller versions of these Nemesis cards, which are set aside, and these are like the bosses. So these are set aside for when they're flipped over. You take these, shuffle them, randomly pick 2, and set the other 2 aside. They're not going to be used during this game. Then you take this monster deck, shuffle it, and place it into about 3 equal decks. Take these, place them on 2 of them, and take the one without one on top, and then stack them on top of each other. Then place it here. Then you give each player a guild card, which looks like that on the back, and on the front it has a name, like a crest, the beginning item that they use, and then they can discard 2 of this kind when you play them, and then you get to do this action. I'll talk more about that later. Then shuffle the rest of the items and place them here, and then shuffle the Queen's Order cards and place those here, and flip over the top one. I'll talk more about that after the setup. This is the main goal of the game. Each player is trying to complete 3 of these Queen's Orders together, because it's a cooperative game. And then you shuffle the hero deck and give each player 7 heroes. Then place the remaining hero deck here. Then place 18 villager tokens in the villager pool, and then take the remaining and don't use them. Place 11 regions and don't place the rest of them. And then, because the King's Funeral card says so, you put 1 threat token in the Growing Enemy, Region Confidence, and the Garden Sanctuary. So these are threats. Then place the Queen's Favor tokens nearby, and then shuffle the quest cards and place those here. Then you flip over 3 monsters, and then place the dice there. You are now ready to begin. On a player's turn, they can do a number of things. One of these things is questing. So if they don't already have a quest in front of them, then they draw the top 2, look at them, and then decide the one they want. So, on a card, you have flavor text, and then you have rewards, which it does after you do this, and then what places you have to go to, and how many times you have to do it. So they like this one because it has less, and they like the reward. So, you're going to take that, take the other one, and put it at the bottom of the pile. And then they get to go questing. So, they can choose to go what places there are, but this one's only Ironstone Crags, so that's where they're going to go. So, you take the Ironstone Crags. It has strength, dexterity, and intelligence. So, they want to look at their hand. So, they want to pick 4 from their hand that are strength, dexterity, and intelligence. Now, on the other side, There could be something else, it's just that what there's likely. So, on a hero, you have hero, their title, their seal, what guild they belong to, what type they are, so ranged, melee, shield, and healing. So those are their classes. And then here's the attributes. So strength, dexterity, and wisdom. And then we've got dexterity, intelligence, and charisma. So this one has 2, strength and dexterity, so they like that one. Let's go dexterity, wisdom again. And then we need some strength. Man, we're not very strong. Okay, and then we got 2 strength, 2 dexterity, and then let's go in with extra dexterity. Okay, there's our team of 4. So you can also use an item at this point. Now, this is the Bulwark Great Hammer, and you can use it to get 1 Constitution. Now, we don't need Constitution, but they might want to use it anyway, and since it's their starting, they don't have to discard it. So they're going to use it, and they get +1 Constitution if there is one. So, first one is Strength. So, flavor text, you read it, see what's happening, and then you do an attribute test. So, Strength. So, we have 2 Strength attributes, so we take 2 dice and roll them. It succeeds if there's a 5 or a 6. We have a 5, so we succeed. If you happen to fail, then you do the bad thing, and then do the third one. Now, since we succeeded, we do the second one. You read the flavor text, and then you do it again. This one is for Wisdom. We have 2. Wisdom wasn't the ones on here, so these just mean what's likely on the back, but not really. So, luckily, we still had 2, so let's roll this, and we did it. So, we get to do this event, which means we get to gain an item. We flip this over, and we got Strength. And then this goes under your quest card to show that you've gone to Ironstone Cracks. Now, if you had failed the first one, you add another to the Garden Sanctuary. If you had passed that one and failed this one, you would also add 1 to the Garden Sanctuary. But you have to pass this one to go there. If you failed this one, you go to the third one, you do this test, and if you do it, you get to reclaim a dead hero, retired hero. Now, if you failed, you would have to retire a hero and kill it, or retire him. But since we passed, forget that, put it there. Now, no matter what, you'd always put it under here because you succeeded. There's a couple of ways you can lose the game. You can lose by retiring all of the heroes. That's ridiculously hard. There are a lot of heroes. If you're told to get rid of a villager or a region and there aren't any, you also lose. To win, you have to complete 3 of these. The second action you can do on your turn you can only do 1 action. So, let's say it's the next player's turn, and we move the player turn marker. At the end of your turn, you have to retire all your heroes if you have play. You have to discard all of your heroes. Now, also you get this special power if you discard some of your guild, which I didn't, you get to do a special action. And then you draw back up to 7. Okay, next player's turn, they want to go questing Queen's Favor. So, they get to fulfill the Queen's order. So, the Obsidian Waste. So, they take the Obsidian Waste card, and this is what is likely to come up. So, they look at their hand and decide what they want to play. Okay, this is our team, and we're going to go to the Obsidian Waste. Let's flip it over. So, flavor text, it is a Constitution check. So we have 1, 2, 3 of those, and roll those, and it's a 6. We succeeded, and we go to the next one. So, since we went fulfilling the Queen's Favor. For everyone you get right, you place 1 there. Then you do this. We've got 2 of those. Roll these, Wisdom, and we failed. So we have to add 1 to the region. Add 1 to the region. And that's bad, and we don't add 1 here. Now, if we had passed that one, this is a combat test. Combat test is like fighting the horde. And we'll talk about that in a second. So this goes to the bottom of the deck. And we've got one Queen's Favor, and when you get 8 of those, flip it over, we get a new one. And then now you get to do the Strength ability check. We have 1. We probably should have planned better because we knew this was happening. Now we also have this item which gives us another 1. We're going to do that, and since it's their starter item, you never discard it. And we got it, 6 and 2. So that means we get to add another 1 here. Now, special thing about doing filling the Queen's order, you can only do it once per player round, which is 4 player turns. Okay, so they're done and they discard these. And they didn't have their guild. So now we move this. Now it's the next player's turn. So the last thing you can do on your turn is fight the horde. Fighting the horde means place down cards from your hand that are from each class type. So we've got melee, shield, healing, and ranged. So that's 4 types, and that's the best you can get. So you get to take 4 dice and roll them. Now, if you had 2 shields, for example, you'd only get to roll 3 because you only have 3 character types. 2 and 1 for each type of character you play down. So let's roll the dice. And instead of it being like an ability test, we place them on here. So this is actually a really easy group of monsters because you can get some pretty relatively hard ones like so. So to beat a monster horde member, you place dice equal to or greater than on each dice marker, and we were able to defeat all of them, which that means we take the dice off and we gain these as trophies. Now, if we hadn't finished and we put 1 on left, then we take one of these success favor tokens and place it on one of them. So I think the tokens will be smaller in the full version, so it'll be easier to cover. And then next time, it's easier to defeat that monster. But now, he attacks your people, your group, and kills or retires one, and he's out of the game unless you have a quest ability that brings him back, but he's gone, and then he's damaged, and you gain these as trophies. Play continues questing, fighting the horde, and fulfilling the Queen's order until it is the end of the 4th turn, and it's about to be the first turn of the next round. When that happens, you remove the villagers for each monster. So there's 1 monster left, so you kill 1 villager. He's gone out of the game. Then you spawn monsters depending on how many are here. So if you have 0 to 1 threats, you spawn 1 monster. So spawn a monster. That's a bad monster, so we might want to go fight the horde. And then we remove regions equal to this here. So if we have 0, you get a Queen's Favor to use to re-roll. But we've got 2, which is within 1 through 5, so we get rid of 1 region confidence. And then we've got 1 here, and that means we retire 1 hero off the top. So the game is slowly beating us by retiring our heroes. Then we check the Queen's Favor to see if we have 8. If we have 8, then we take it, put it up here, flip over another one. And then, last thing, if the player has 4 enemy trophy tokens, then they can turn them in to either gain an item or remove 2 from growing enemy. So then we flip over a new event, Explorers Festival, and then you add threats on here. So 1 to the growing enemy, 1 to region confidence, and 2 to the garden sanctuary. And then we place this here, and next time we get to do this action from a quest or a place card, we get to gain an item, same as last time. Now, before you begin the next turn, everybody can pass 1 card from their hand to the player on their left. This is good because people are attempting to collect people of their guild so they can do these special actions. Like, if you play 2 of the bridge wardens and discard them, then you get to choose a player to draw an item. Now, that's good for other players, but there's some other that means add one to the queen's order or do other special actions like that. So, when you fulfill a quest, like if I did 2 Ironstone Crags, so I just did another Ironstone Crag and completed it, I get the reward, gain an item, so I get an item, and then I get to remove 2 threat counters from any threat pool. Some of them mean all from 1, or 1 from 1, or 2 from 1. This is 2 from any. So I'm going to take it from this one because I really don't want to kill 2 heroes. So I'm going to remove those and place them out back in the pool. So questing is very important to get rid of these threat, so you don't keep getting rid of a ton of things to lose the game. And then finally, you have some, just to make it even harder, you have Nemesis cards in here, which are special and do extra bad things. So, here's one, the dragon. So, you discard it, and bring in the big card dragon, and place it on top of the queen's favor, and then you have to beat the Nemesis by rolling it by fighting the horde. So, the event phase, which means remove 2 villagers. So, every time it happens, every 4 rounds, we kill 2 villagers, starting from that round. And then you defeat it by getting 6, 4, or higher. That's really hard. Now, some of the others are the Hydra, which means you have to put 10 twos, so that's going to take a couple rounds. And every time you remove 2 success from the Nemesis. So, you're cutting off the heads, and they're going back. So these randomly change from game to game. There's also 2 other Nemesis cards, and you get 2 per game, so this adds a lot of replayability, along with all of the different shuffled, and the different cards you get in your hand to play, and then the special actions and guilds you have to play with. Play continues until you complete one of these. You put these back, flip over another one, and you do it again. Play continues until you have completed 3, then the players have won the game. Now, if before that happens you lose, you need to kill a villager, and there's none left, or you need to remove a region, and there's none left, or you need to retire a hero, and there's none left. The game ends, and all players lose. That's how you play, by order of the queen. Okay, I've got my dad here for a parent's opinion. So Dad, what do you think of By Order of the Queen?
I really enjoyed By Order of the Queen. It was kind of a cool role-playing-esque type game. It's cooperative, so you can play with people that maybe aren't as gamery. And you can play with younger kids. This is definitely a family-type game. Mm-hmm. So I really liked it.
Yes. So components. This is a prototype copy. So the board was literally cardboard.
Yeah, so
paper
components
on it.
Components are subject to change because of the Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's Kickstarter. They can do anything. They could upgrade the cards to like giant or whatever they could do.
They probably won't, but right. So
tokens
there's a lot
are
of
probably
cards.
Going to be smaller and cardboard.
There's tokens, some dice in there, and then kind of a big bifold board.
I hope they get translucent engraved dice. That would be so cool.
You never know with Kickstarter.
It'd be so cool though. And then artwork. So they have the little confidence of the region, the little tower with the houses, and then the villagers back, and then the little skull for the threat.
Yeah, so the artwork is very well done. This is what what.
And then all the different heroes.
Right, was artwork is done, and it's phenomenal artwork by Justin Hillgrove.
Definitely.
Who did their other Junking game that Junk Spirit did, as well as his own art book. So very, very good with the artwork.
Yes. Go Hillgrove. He did a great job on this one. Strategy. So it's a cooperative game, but you can only fulfill the Order of the Queen once every 4 player turns, and then go questing, fighting the horde, and then what event comes up, and you get bonuses.
Yeah, so the board actually is pretty tough. If you don't take care of certain areas, it's going to start getting rid of your villagers, getting rid of your regions, and your heroes. So those are the ways to lose.
And then when the Nemesis come out, Nemesis, multiple Nemesis later in the game come out.
Those guys are tough.
You have to fight them, and they stop all fulfilling of the queen's order until the Nemesis is gone.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, there's a little bit of strategy there. Obviously, the luck with the dice roll. I really liked the text on the cards, each little quest,
flavor text,
and the location. It kind of gets you into the story. So there's a little bit of a storytelling element to this game too, that really makes it shine.
Definitely. So easy for kids. Yeah, they might not completely understand the little seals and you get the bonuses or the
Like the combat,
the combat, but the rest of it should be completely fine. It's just the little colored symbols.
Yep.
And then doing what the queen says.
They can be in charge of rolling the dice, which is what we did.
Or have a cool dice tower.
Dice tower, yeah.
Overall, really great game. Nice components, great artwork, good strategy, easy for kids.
Yep, this is a good one. I expect good things from the Kickstarter crowd on this one. I hope it funds. This is a really, really solid game by David Gerrard.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for watching Brian's Got Game. Please like us on our Facebook page, send us a tweet at Brian's Got Game, visit our webpage, briansgotgame.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Brian, who's my dad. See you next time.